doing? My name is Joses Ngugi. I'm one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind. Welcome to another episode of the Pre-PT Grind Chat Live, where myself and Casey Coleman, who's my business partner for Pre-PT Grind, we come into this group live to talk to you about, a few key things that we believe will be of value to you, from the conversations we've had with pre-PTs to our very own experiences to students that we have coached. Shanahan, how you doing? Kendall, how you doing? Stephanie, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about some questions. 4 questions that every pre-physical therapy student should ask themselves. And so we're going to break those down because I've had the opportunity to get on a few calls today. By a few, I mean quite a few calls with pre-PTs today. And one thing that I keep noticing as I let Casey on here, let me let him on. Perfect. So I've gotten on a few calls today with pre-PTs, and one common thread is the fact that most students right now. What's up, Casey? How you doing, man?
What's
Most
going on?
students that I spoke to today were just having trouble figuring out what they should do. So some were coming from cycles of applying and just struggling through that, and just like me, like Joseph, I just got like rejected. I'm talking about like this happened today, and they're like, well, I just got rejected. I really don't know what to do next. There are students that have been getting ready for interviews, and so their struggles are a little different. And so the honest truth is, we like to know what to do. We like to know what to do. Having some direction in regards to what we should do next as pre-physical therapy students is important. But really, what we want to do tonight is say, well, there are 4 questions that are going to be good recalibration questions to help you as a pre-PT going into this next cycle, because the push this year for us as pre-PT Grind, as a platform for those of you that have been new, like, is to help you get into PT school without doing a lot of guesswork. And that's really what has led a lot of other pre-PTs to get some very disappointing mistakes. Disappointing letters or emails or whatever. And so really, for you to not get rejected this year, we want to make sure that we're doing everything, Casey, everything to make sure that, like, your application as an individual, this is not just in general, because we can only do so much in live streams, right? And so as an individual, that your application gets the best possible shot to be accepted and looked at and seen as like, really, like, to be seen as a candidate that you deserve to be seen as. And what's up, Nick? How you doing? And so tonight, for those of you that have not seen our 3-part video training series, honestly, comment clear path below at any point during this live stream. We want to give you that at the very end of that 3-part series. We are giving away a free phone call with either myself or Casey. This is not just to get on the call and just have fun. Honestly, it's because we want to live up to what we have told you we are about this year. We want to live up to that by saying we want to help you figure out right now, based on where you're at, what your next move needs to be, based on your current circumstances, based on your current frustrations, whatever it is. If you feel stuck, if you feel like there's any bit about the next year that just does not seem clear at all, let's get on the phone. Emily, I'm looking forward to getting on the phone with you. Let's get on the phone. So comment clear path. We haven't even dived into tonight's topic yet, but I'm just going to say this now from the beginning. This is no longer, like, we're not playing around this year. Like, we'll have fun on live streams. We'll have a good time. For those of y'all that are coming out to, Smart Success PT Live this year, we're going to have a good time. But the honest truth is, we have to go into this year knowing that there's no guesswork. So comment clear path so that you can get access to our free, like, it's a serious training. This is not like a little two-minute video training. This is like 2 20-minute videos and one, solid, like, I think it's like 40-minute, like, this is like
Yep.
some heavy content. But at the very end of it, once you've gone through it, if you're like, yo, I'm willing to sit down through that and figure out all the different pieces that will give me clarity as a pre-PT as to where I am and what I need to do next, go through it. And then let's get on a call. Let's get on a call, because as a pre-PT, this has to be your year, but I can't do it for you. Casey can't do it for you. You have to be able to say, all right, let me figure this out for myself, and we're just trying to give you the tools to do that. So let's make that happen. If that is you, comment ClearPath throughout the live stream. I'll mention it a few more times for those that join us later. But whether you're watching Team Live or Team Replay, comment ClearPath. If you have already gotten the 3-part series, go finish watching it and get yourself on the list to get on the phone call, because that's something that I would take advantage of if I were you as soon as possible. Because I mean, for obvious reasons. So it depends on how bad you want it. But let's dive into it. Casey, before we go in, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm all good, man. I can't complain. There might be a snowstorm coming up here around Chicago
Oh,
this weekend, so we'll see.
that's
I
why
might
I
have
left,
something to
man.
complain about, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I'm good, though.
Yo,
I'm good.
that's why I left, bro. That's why I left. So I'm in Florida. But for those of y'all that are up north experiencing cold weather, all the best. All the best. And feel free to move down to Florida when y'all see fit. All right. So tonight, Casey, let's talk about 4 questions. So when Casey and I get on the phone, we have a very limited time to get to know you guys and to get to know your current situations. And what I'm realizing is, Casey, most of the calls that I'm getting on, yeah, like there's awareness about what the struggles are. So most people know. Like if they're like, you know what, Joseph, I think my GRE is what's holding me back. You know what? Like I think it's my grades. So like I think everyone has an idea, but most calls, there's very few calls where I see a pre-PT that just knows this is what's wrong. I understand all of the different pieces, and this is what I need to do before I apply next cycle. Most people don't. Most people don't. So I'll listen and I'll, say a few things, and then I'll start pointing some things out, and they're like, yo, I didn't even think of that. And so let's start with some clarifying questions that each one of you needs to start asking yourself right now. And it'll not only help you calibrate yourself as a pre-PT, because I think sometimes when we're so focused, Natalie, how are you doing? Like when we're so focused on what we're doing right now, when we're so focused on the semester, all right, I just got to get through the semester. I just got to pass these classes. When we're so focused on, I just need to do all my observation hours. That's all it is. When you're so focused on, oh, it's just the GRE. When you're so focused on, well, whatever happens with PT, like if you're so focused on one thing, there's a few key elements that you start missing out on that become like that really are your fuel as a pre-PT, the main fuel for you as a pre-PT, and the very steps that will allow you to have a lot more a lot more clarity as a pre-PT and understanding what you should be doing next. Because that alone, understanding that alone will be for many of you the difference between getting accepted this next cycle and not. Because what it is the fact that there, like, you may have the, like, if just packaged right, if everything was just set up well from now, like you have a lot of time between now and the application cycle. You can do so much. And if you just took advantage of that and just understanding what you needed to do before, not between now and then, instead of just waiting to see what everyone else was doing, you could actually set yourself up to not have to go through another cycle of this again. And if that's not the case, then honestly, you might repeat the same mistakes, which is what a lot of pre-PTs have done. And that's the calls that I was on this morning. And so I'm just telling you, not out of my own imagination. This is like real stuff from today. That's what decided what this topic was going to be. So let's dive into it, Casey. These 4 questions that they should ask yourself. Let's start with a really simple one. Let's start with a really simple one, because I think a lot of times we forget how simple these can be, and then we'll get a little deeper into it. Sounds good? The first one is, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this?
Hmm.
Why am I doing this? You know, it's interesting because I have to ask myself that question sometimes too, as a physical therapist, as a pre-PT coach. Sometimes it's easy to get carried away by, the fact that, I mean, I don't know, like you get carried away by like, sometimes I'll get carried away by the successes. I'm just going to be honest tonight. Some of my shortcomings, sometimes I'll get carried away by the successes where I'm like, wow, like students that we've invested in have actually figured it out, and they've gotten in. That sometimes it's easy to kind of stay in that high where you're just like, whoa, like this is phenomenal. That on? You're back
You're
on?
back. You're good. Hmm.
Good, perfect. Sometimes you sometimes forget. This is something I struggled with early last year, where you'll sometimes feel like there's still a lot, right? And that's why you'll sometimes even hear that our message has changed a lot from what it was early last year. Early last year, it was a lot more like, strategy live streams. And, Casey, we used to do, all right, this is the steps to, GRE this is, but honestly, what I had to realize, I had to come back to the ground and say, yo, people are struggling. People are struggling. People have put themselves like in situations where they have invested in schools, where they have invested in PT cast, where they have honestly like put their life on hold. They have families, they have kids, they have so many other things and they're not getting into PT school. They're doing all this work and not getting in. So I was like, yo, there are people that are really struggling. So I have to remind myself that that's my mission. So why am I doing this? Is to make sure that as many pre-PTs that want to get in are able to get in, especially when everything about the system, from faculty members to our family to everything about the system that is set up for you to actually lose, works against you. So if that's why I'm doing it, that's also going to lead to my actions. So what am I going to do next? I'm going to show up on live streams. Casey's going to show up on live streams. We're going to offer you free phone calls. Y'all realize we actually charge for phone calls, like to consult with pre-PTs. But we're like, yo, let's actually give them a chance to get some clarity on what they need to do. So we give you free phone calls. We're like, yo, like what can we do? Because we understand that right now the problem, Casey, is that there are so many pre-PTs that are actually like PT school quality, that are PT school qualified, that are PT qualified, but don't understand it and will not understand it unless they find some clarity. So let's bring it down to pre-PTs. Why am I doing this? Ask yourself, like, forget all the stress for a little bit and just say, all right, like, what am I doing this for? Maybe it's your kids. Maybe it's your kids. Maybe it's reminding yourself that it's really for them. Maybe it's stepping outside of the fact that you're upset at your professor for giving you a grade that you feel like you didn't deserve. Maybe it's stepping out of the fact that you're like me, and the first time you try to take the GRE, you showed up to the testing site and they had like shut it down because of a snowstorm and didn't tell you. I mean, maybe it's subtle things like that, but why are you doing this? Like why? Like because once you can remind yourself that, then the next questions we ask ourselves will be a lot more fine tuned towards what you do. Because there's no point in understanding. What's up, Justin? How you doing, man? Like, there's really no point in understanding. And Lindsay, good to see you. Like, there's no point in understanding like what to do next if you don't have the ability to actually follow through with it. Like, so what if I know what my strategy should be for the year? If I don't follow through with it, I'm gonna have the same result. So I have to have a strong reason behind it all. So I want you to ask yourself, and you can comment below. Like, tell me two key reasons why you've fallen in love with this path. And I've done this before, but I want you guys to do it for yourself. So for me, like for me, honestly, it's partially for my own ability to know that I can accomplish something. Two, it's my passion for people. Three, it's my soon to be family. I'm getting married this year, understanding that I needed something that would give me time. And it was because I came from like an upbringing where, coming from East Africa, like there wasn't a lot of time that I spent, with my parents, because of how much work they were doing, right? And so because of their time commitment, I had to make sure, that whatever career path I chose would give me that. So give me my weekends off, would give me my evenings off. So I fell into physical therapy, right? And so what's your reasoning? Do you have a reasoning? What is it? Comment below. Like, comment below in one or two words. What is it? Is it kids? Is it time? Is it experience? Having an injury and saying, yo, I would love to put other people through what I have been put through as a patient. Is it frustration? Did you go through something you're like, wow, PT could have actually prevented that? Like, I want to make sure no one else goes through that. I know someone that did that, that actually had an unnecessary surgery and it screwed up a lot of different things. They're like, yo, this is like, I have to invest into it. Like, PT has to be it because I have to make sure that other people are not going through this. Shanahan says, the ability to watch my family grow and be the only one who can dictate my own time and life. I love
Mm.
that. I love that. Keep commenting, even if you're watching on replay. Like, let other pre PTs on here see that. And if you're a little shy about it, no problem. You can do like a little one word so we can summarize it. You know, if it's kids or if it's time or whatever it is. Like, why? Why am I doing this? And this is not just me asking you. I want you to ask yourself. I want you to ask yourself because we have to start here before we figure out what we have to do next in order to give you a good shot at getting into PT school. Casey, what's yours?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely important because my next two thoughts or my next two questions, I don't even think I really need to go into if you guys don't really have this down because that's what physical therapy schools are really looking for. They're going to ask you this question. How do I prepare for an interview? What do I say at a campus visit? You have to be ready for this question. You
Yeah.
have to be ready to explain yourself eloquently, efficiently, properly. You're going to have this at the tip of your tongue. And if you don't, that's okay right now. That's what this live stream is for.
Yeah.
But you do need to figure that out because patients are going to ask you, other faculty, your other students, your family. I have patients ask me that all the time. I'm working on somebody's neck and they're like, so why did you pick physical therapy? I'm like, why are you even asking me this? I never thought a patient would ask me that. But I got to this point through PT school, through being a pre-PT, where I have it down like that. I know what to say. I know how to say it, and how it comes across is very, very enlightening to the patient, and it puts my career and my choice in a different perspective. So if you want to, quote unquote, impress and quote unquote stand out like a lot of you ask, you got to start here. You got to start with this question and um, have it flowing very well. Then after that, after you figure this out, well, if your why is strong enough, you have to follow that up with asking these questions, asking the question of when and how. So we all know these W questions from like third grade, right? With that
Hmm.
H one of how. So so you're asking why am I doing this? Then you have to ask, okay, if my why is strong enough, when am I doing this? Is this important now, or
Ooh.
can I wait a little bit? I can wait a little. I don't need to invest in myself. I don't have to put the hard work in. I don't have to study. I don't have to put myself in place to do these things. It can wait a little bit. Fine. If that's you, then fine. If you have things that you need to get done now and put your career path in place now, you have a family now, then now is the time to do it. Now you know your when. Then when you know your when, then how am I even going to do this? Okay, I got a strong why. This is why I want to do this. I want to save the world. Cool. I want to save the world now. All right, cool. I want to save the world in 3 years. Cool. Okay. Now, how are you going to do it?
Yeah.
And even if you think you know how, second guess yourself and say, is my how even a good plan? Who have I run it by? Am I just looking at other students? Am I just looking at the pre-doc group? Am I just watching these blogs and YouTube videos that work in a general fashion? That's great. We have a YouTube, we have blogs, it's fine. It's there for you to get that information and resources from. But for your specific situation, do you know how to make it work? So
Mm.
following up from that why, make sure that's the first thing. Don't even go to my next two questions if you don't have this figured out. But if you do have this figured out, then go to when. When is it important? Then how? Do I even know how to put it in place? So that's my thoughts on this first one.
That's like the whole live stream right there, man. But 100%. 100%. Now let's go a little deeper. This one has to be very self-reflective. As a pre-PT, you have to ask yourself this question. What is my confidence level? Like, don't, like I said, we're going into this year with clarity. This is a year of clarity. What is my confidence level that I am going to get in on the next shot? Casey, what is my confidence level that I am going to get in on the next shot? Now, honestly, I want you to scale it between 0 and 10. 10 is like, it's in the bag. 10 is like, yo, it's done. It is done. It is woo. I feel it. I'm locked in. Everything's lined up. It's beautiful. School's locked up. I'm a match. Like it's only a matter of the few months I have between now and the cycle opening up. Five is I'm on the fence. I really don't know. Like I really don't know. I kind of feel, in between. Eight is I feel relatively confident. I just feel like there's something else that I might be missing. And one is honestly I don't feel confident at all. How you have to be honest with yourself. So whether you want to comment that below, or whether you want to ask yourself internally, because I know that one's a harder one to swallow sometimes. But be real. Be real. If you're not gonna comment it below, like write it down. Like find a piece of paper, grab your phone. If you're watching this on your phone, grab something else. I don't know. Write down a number. I want you to look at that number. I want you to actually have a number. If you have a sticky note, I want you to grab that sticky note, put it on your mirror in your bathroom, put it in your bedroom where you're gonna see it. But I want you to ask yourself, what is my current confidence level that I am going to get in on the next cycle? Casey, why is that so important for us to understand, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna back up a bit and tell you about a little bit about my personal story because I think this is where a lot of pre-PTs are at. I think they can really relate because
Yeah.
first time I applied, I thought I was like 7, 8. I was feeling pretty good about it, and this is a hard one because I think we really need help with this as pre-PTs, and we need another person to help us to tell us where we
Mm.
are because we really just know ourselves and maybe a couple friends around us that we know their situation, but it takes an outside voice, whether that's an advisor, whether it's pre-PT grind, a blog, or YouTube. It doesn't really matter. This is really a hard one because sometimes we think it's higher than it really is, sometimes we think it's lower than it really is.
Yeah.
And for us to be, even if we're being honest with myself, even with my own situation, sorry, excuse me, even with my own situation, I honestly, like, you couldn't tell me I was not a 7 or an 8. That first time I applied, I was like, okay, I'm applying a little late. Okay, yeah, I don't have everything in place, but I'm good. Like, I'm cool. I'm good. I'm applying. I'm still getting my stuff before the deadlines. I have everything. My classes are in PTCast. I
Mm.
know the advisor. I've seen the teachers around some. I've went to our pre-PT assemblies.
Mm.
So I'm good. My GPA is like a 3.4-ish, 3.5. I'm good, right? I'm a 7. And it took that time where I didn't hear anything back to drop me down to a 6.5, then a talk with the advisors to 6, then me realizing I wasn't going to get into a 5, then man, I'm really not getting in. Holy shit. Maybe I was a 4.
Wow.
So that's, I mean, it's this is a hard one. I don't really know if we can honestly say, yeah, I'm a this, I'm a that. Maybe we can, maybe we can't, but I think you guys really need an outside voice to help you with this. Whether it's us, whether it's someone else, I don't really care. You just have to figure that out in order to move forward with the title of this video, what's your next move? So from my personal experience, and I know a lot of you can probably relate with whether
Mm.
you're applying soon or you're applying a second or third time, it's a difficult one to answer because honestly, because we're saying, okay, be honest with yourself. If I was you, 4 years ago, or I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was, I
Yep.
would have honestly put. I'm not lying to y'all. I would have put 7, 8, no problem. I would have put it down. Joseph, you can't tell. Who are you, Joseph? You can't tell me I'm not 7.
You can't
You
tell me
cannot
nothing.
tell. You can't tell me I'm. Man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I got a 3.4, 3.5. I'm a 7.
Yeah.
And if that's honestly how you feel, I can't tell you you're lying to yourself because that's how I honestly felt. So I really think you need some help with this. If it's us, click the link. What's the word? Clear path. Put clear
Comment clear
path
path.
below.
Comment clear path.
Comment
If you.
comment clear path,
Yep.
and let us talk to you. Let us get on the phone and help you figure this out. And whether we decide where you go from there is where we decide on that phone call. But yeah, you guys need definitely have an outside voice with that, and let us get on the phone with you and comment clear path so we can figure this tough one out. So those are my thoughts from my experiences with this one.
Yeah, man. We have to know. We have to know what our confidence level is. I think sometimes we associate that nervousness or lack of confidence for just like being like newbies at it, or just kind of be like, oh, this is the norm. Everyone doesn't feel confident. We'll just apply and see what happens. No, 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 no. Like when you go in, there should be like a confidence radar that lets you know. Honestly, let's talk like sports for a little bit because it's the same thing, right? So even in sports, you'll see that like when a rookie, I don't care if you watch like hockey, soccer, football, basketball. Now, if you don't watch sports, it'll still make sense. So bear with me. So even if like when you watch a rookie play for the first time, rookies in the like in the pros are coming from being superstars in
Mm,
college,
mm,
superstars in high school. They have been like the OGs, right? So you're coming from being a pre-PT superstar, right? So where like
wow.
maybe you might be killing it in your class, so you feel like a superstar, like because that confidence has to come from somewhere.
That's a good point.
It
I
has
like
to
that.
come from somewhere. So if I've been killing it, in my last, 60 credits, I'm like, yo, check it out. Like I have confidence because my last 60 credits are unlocked, not understanding that there's so many other pieces that I'm missing, not understanding that I'm not tailoring myself to the right schools, not understanding that the things that I should be doing to actually I'm actually doing the wrong things for the wrong schools and then applying to schools that won't even give me a second look. And then I'm
Mm,
going through a cycle where I'm like, I was confident, kind of like where Casey was at that 7, but now that whole process actually brings me down to a 4 or a 3 or a 2 or a 1 where you're like, man, forget this. What happens when that happens twice? When there's 2 application cycles and that happens? What happens when it happens 3 times? This stuff is real. But in the same way that I was like, just like the sports, you'll notice that there's a very clear difference between the rookie pseudo confidence and a veteran's or a legend's confidence that comes with time, that comes with understanding. Like I'm a Lakers fan, so when I watch LeBron James play, I already know that his confidence doesn't come from the fact that it's like he's just like, yo, I'm LeBron. No, 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 no. He knows how everything's gonna go. He knows what his percentages are. He knows like how the game works. He's playing the game out of experience. He's playing the game because he understands exactly who he is, what his role is, what his skills are, and how to take advantage of them. Does that make sense? I don't know if I went out. Comment below if I went out. Let me know if I did. Let me know. Just comment below. Be like, Joseph, we can still hear. I mean, you won't hear. So, can y'all still hear me? Comment below. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. I lost Casey, so I just want to make sure that we're still together. Hopefully we're still good. Oh, Casey's gone, but I'm still here. All right. Hopefully Casey will come back. But honestly, what is my confidence level? What is my confidence level? Then now let's transition to the next question. How important? I'm still here. Thank you so much, Emily. Thanks, Nick. How important is it for me to get in now? How important is it for me to get in now? I'm not saying that we're applying without feeling like the application process is important. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that if we're not asking ourselves that question so that we know for ourselves, are you coming back, Casey? All right, cool. So like I'm just saying that if we don't ask ourselves that question as pre-PTs, then the urgency of what we do will not be there. The students that got accepted into PT school last year that I coached or Casey coached or that I was affiliated with, they had a sense of urgency. Let me use one person in here named Shanahan. So Shanahan, I'm going to talk about you because you're like the second person on every single live stream, and so I'm gonna as I add Casey on here. Shanahan, if you're still here, let me know, man, because I'm about to talk about you a little bit, and it's gonna be all positive, bro. So Shanahan is a pre-PT student. He's on a tear this year. Like he got into our accepted system coaching program because he was like, I want to do whatever I need to do to lock myself in. But he fully understands that Casey and I are not the ones applying for him. So he has to come in ready to take advantage of everything. He then said, all right, I'm going to take a next step. I'm going to get myself into a bigger group of people. I'm going to get myself around other business owners, the people that are pushing in the profession, other entrepreneurs, the best in the field. And so he got into Smart Success PT as a pre-PT. But the reason is he also has urgency. Shanahan has urgency. So Casey, right now, we're talking about how important is it for me to get in now? Because if we're not going into this application process with urgency, if we're not asking ourselves with these questions with urgency and clarity as to what, like where we are right now, then the actions that follow will not add up. And so his urgency is his family. His urgency is that he just became, like he just became a dad again recently. So he has other things on the line that he's like, I can't screw it up for them. I can't screw it up for me. And so for me, I also have urgency. I have projects I'm working on right now as a physical therapist, opening up clinics, taking care of pre-PTs. I also have to look into my future. 4.5 months from now, I'm getting married, right? Let's get it. Like 4.5 months from now, I'm getting married. I'm starting a new family. I have a lot of other things that I'm making sure that all my efforts go towards. You know what? I'm about to show y'all something. I'm about to show y'all something real quick. Y'all have to understand what this is all about. All right. So right here, I have a list of things. I don't know if y'all can see it, right? So I have a list of things. When I woke up this morning, I asked myself, I was like, all right, like what do I need to do to make sure that my level of urgency is made known? What do I have to do to make sure that pre-PTs who I'm taking care of and Casey's taking care of are still served? What do I have to do as a coach to make sure that my patients are being taken care of? So I took my morning off. And that list right there, there's at least 18 different things that I said before I go to bed, I'm going to make sure I do them. Right now, I've crossed off over 75% of them. I still got a few more things to do before I go to bed, but it's urgency. It's urgency. It's what has led to me knowing what I have to do next. It's what's led for me, like to me knowing, all right, for me to have these things lined up, boom, 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 we're good. On that list is some calls that I had this morning with pre-PTs. And like we were saying, y'all can get on them too. Just comment. What do we say to comment? Clear path. Comment clear
Mm-hmm.
path, and you'll be able to see the 3-part series, and you'll be able to get on a call. But honestly, I have urgency. So what I do is going to be manifested, and honestly, whatever I put my energy towards will manifest itself eventually because I have urgency. I'm not here wasting time. I'm not waiting for anybody else to do my work for me. I'm not waiting for my coaches to do work for me. I'm not waiting for my coaches to be on my back. All I know is that if I expose myself to clarity and knowing what my path is, then I got to put in the work. But I have to understand how important is it for me to get in now? Because if it's not, honestly, shoot, like we can go through this all day long. Like it's cool. Like I mean, PT schools are gonna be there for the next who knows how long? Casey, 50 years?
We'll see.
I mean, shoot, it might change. You never know. They might just like morph the profession. Who knows? But honestly, how important is it for me to get it? How important is it for me to get it? So number one, why am I doing this? Number two, what is my confidence level? Rate yourself on a 0 to 10 scale. And if you haven't rated yourself in the comments, feel free to do that as well. Rate yourself on a 0. 10 is like I am locked in. 0 is honestly, sorry, let's not even do 0. 1. 1 is like honestly, I don't know. I don't know. Like I want to apply because I feel like it's the right time. What's up, Ben? Like I feel like it's the right time, but I don't know. But I really don't. And the number 3, how important is it for me to get in now? What is my level of urgency to get in now? Because that is what, even when you get on the phone with us, that's what's going to give us the ability to guide you on what your steps should be. Because if you're not trying to get in for the next like 5 years, then honestly, shoot, like the game plan is going to be a little different. But if you're trying to get in this cycle, well, the game plan is going to be a little more like right now. But it's going to require you having a level of urgency before getting into PT school. So Casey, before we dive into what the last question is, what are your thoughts on that? The level of urgency and how important it is for me as a pre-PT right now. What's up, Aaron? Like how important it is for me as a pre-PT right now to lock in PT school, bro.
Yeah, I think I might be preaching to the choir with this, but somebody might need to hear this. Maybe 1 to 5 people on this live stream or watching our replay might need to hear this. Because I think a lot of our people who watch our stuff regularly is like, okay, I get it. I got to lock in now, and this is why. And, I've done, okay, so you guys know. But a few people out there might not have the urgency right now. So I'm talking to you guys. And this is why you might need some urgency, whether applying next cycle, this cycle coming up, whatever it is. Let's think about what you can do with 1 year. Let's just say you're putting it off, you're slacking, you're saying, I don't need it right now, I can wait until the application's open. And let's just say you don't get in and you're shocked, you're surprised, what happened, blah, blah, blah. What could have happened with 1 year? What can you do with 365 days? Ask yourself, what can you do with 365 days? You can lose weight, you can start a family, you can buy a house, you can move out the country, you can travel, whatever it is. You guys understand what a year is. That's a lot of time that you could be farther along in your life, in your career, in your whatever. So that's the time aspect. And another thing about time, unlike money, is that you can't really get it back. Money, okay, you can make more money as time goes on. You can learn some new skills. All right, money's there. It's out there. You can get it. But the time you can't really get back. That 1 year is gone. it's just gone. Like the 1 year I didn't get in, it's just gone. The other 2 years other people didn't get in, it's just gone. You cannot get it back. So that might put a little urgency under you. If not, cool. Let's talk about money. This might be your thing to give you some urgency. 1 year of not applying. Let's talk about PT salaries. Let's just say you're a new grad coming out of school. Let's just say you get a nice little $70,000 job or 65,000 or 85,000, whatever it is. You're not making that. That 80,000, that 70,000 is not made. You are now $70,000 more poor than you already are. You are $70,000 more in debt than you already are. You have 70,000 less dollars after taxes, whatever, in your bank account than you would have had a year ago. Now let's add on some PT cast numbers. Let's just say you applied to 7 schools. That's $145 for the first school. Then 7 more schools, that's what, 350-ish. So add those together, around, I don't know, 500-ish, whatever, 600, somewhere around there. Then you add your prereq classes that you have to take. How much is a class now, guys? I don't know, 1,000, 1,500. Maybe you get one for 7. A credit. A credit, not even a class, a credit. Then maybe you have to take 2 classes, 3 classes. This is adding up, people. This is adding up. Tack that onto the salary you're not making. Now let's add on another year's worth of debt. Let's just say you're an undergrad and you have to go through another year of undergrad to graduate and get your degree. That's another school year worth of debt. Now you're talking 70,000 plus, I don't know, 15,000 or 20, whatever that year is. So now you're all that money down the drain because you did not have that urgency right now.
Wow.
Now you're a year gone. You can't get that back down the drain because you didn't have that urgency.
Yep.
So if you haven't thought about it now, some people on the live stream, I know a lot of you on the live stream probably have, and that's great. That's why you're here. That's why you need to get on the phone call with us, comment clear path so we can figure that out. So it's not put down the toilet. It's not going down the drain. Yep. But if you're watching this on replay 3 months from now, a year from now, 2 years, you might need some urgency. And hopefully that can put some urgency, light a fire under you and get going and reach out to us and get your stuff in order because it's serious and I need you guys to understand it because that's pretty much me and a lot of other people who didn't figure it out sooner. So get some urgency. Get some urgency. So that's it.
Simple as that. It's going to be critical for this year to be able to get it. Urgency. And the last question is, now after asking myself those questions, do I really feel like I'm clear on what I need to do next? I think this sounds like a redundant question, but maybe it's not surprising, but sometimes it surprises me how often I'll ask pre-PTs, like, do you know what you should be doing next? Like, I'll literally, like when I'm on the phone, I'll kind of throw it in their ballpark for a little bit before I give my thoughts. I'll be like, what do you believe will be should be your next move? Like, what do you believe is missing between now and getting accepted? And people will just kind of throw out what they've heard. I mean, you like shoot, like what have we heard? Man, I gotta retake my GRE. I gotta retake my GRE, man. That's it. That's what screwed me over. You know what? I gotta retake two more classes. Two more classes. That's what it Casey, that's what it is. Two classes. Two. Not three, not one, two classes. You know, like honestly, I feel like it was good. I feel like it was a good application cycle. Maybe I'll just try it again and see what happens. I'll just talk more to those schools again and see if I know a few people in the programs. Like most people just don't know what to do next. We're following what everyone else is doing, so we have to ask ourselves, like, really, do I really know? Do I really know? And it's okay to ask yourself that question. It's okay to not know. Like, it's okay to feel like it's okay to even as I'm saying this right now, it's okay to be like, I thought I did, but maybe there's something I'm missing. Like I thought, hmm. It happened twice this morning. Like I said something like, huh, I didn't even think about that.
Hmm.
Huh, huh. And it completely shifted how those pre-PTs like looked at their next few months. So do I really know what I need to do next? And if at any point in here you like if I said, do I really know what I need to do next? And you're like, I don't know. Okay, you need a comment clear path. If you were at that point and you did not say like a 10, like on that radar for how confident you are, if you were a 9 or okay, comment clear path. Because you're like, we need to get on a call. We got to make sure that that becomes a 10. We got to make sure that clarity becomes like straight up binoculars, like HD quality, like 3 dimensional, like everything. We got to make sure that you have what like everything laid out. But we can't go into this year like just doing the same thing that we did before. We can't go into this year, Elijah, how you doing? Cameron, how you doing? Like we can't go into this year like assuming that just following the little bits and pieces that we feel we might need to shift or work or we're seeing our classmates do or just applying where they're applying or just saying I just want to stay close to home and just using those general guidelines. You can't honestly set yourself up to be a high quality candidate for a program that might not actually be a match for you. So you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for programs that are actually fine tuned and set and ready to get you into their program and lock you in as a DPT student. Because that's our goal. That's our goal. Our program is called the Accepted System for a reason. Because our mission is to get y'all what you want. Accepted. I don't think most of y'all are in here just to like kind of be like, yeah, I'm just here for the hype. I'm just here like whether I get accepted or not. It don't matter. It don't matter, Casey. It don't matter. You know what? I can get rejected for 10 years and I'm just here. No, like at the end of it, we want to get in. That's why we're here. We're trying to figure out like, yo, what can I learn? Like, can I like meet people? Like, are there questions I can ask? Like, shoot, that's why there's over 3.6 thousand people in here. But to take advantage of that, this is the step that we have to take. Because even being part of this group is not enough. It's not enough if you don't know personally what your next move should be. What the next move for Benjamin should be may not be the next one for Elijah. What the next move for Cameron should be what may not be the same one for Robbie or for Michael. Like so wherever you're at, you have to figure it out for you. But we can only figure that out if we take this offline and we get on the phone. So if that's you and you're like, yo, I need to figure this out, comment clear path. We will message you a copy of our 3-part video training series. It's honestly like a pretty next level video training series. And then at the end of it, you get access to a free call with either one of us. Let's figure it out. Once we figure that out, it's game over. 2019 is your year. But we don't go guessing and we don't go just on this high, the fact that you're like listening to all these live streams or podcasts, you're like, yeah. I'm part of the greatest, pre-PT community ever. Well, we have to actually take action. We have to take action, but it has to be action that is directed towards your acceptance, action that is directed towards what you need to be doing right now as a pre-PT to get yourself locked in. So if you're anywhere on that trajectory from what we talked about tonight, comment clear path. We want to help you out. But we have to get down to the nitty gritty of it. We have to make sure, this person is set up long term. We can only do that we get on the phone. So let's make it happen. Casey, anything else for us before we finish the live stream?
I think it's hard for us to make decisions. It's hard for anyone to make decisions. And so we're going to make the next one for you. And we've been doing that this whole live stream. So what's your next move? Your next move now is to comment clear path, and we will get on the phone with you, like we've been saying, and make sure your next decisions are the right ones, because that's one of the hardest things we have to do. And as now physical therapists, we have to do that all day, every day. So
Yeah.
we've gotten pretty good at it and pretty used to it. And we know how to make the right decision for you moving
Yep.
forward. So if you're anxious about it, if you're like, I don't know, just somebody tell me what to do, we'll do that. I'm telling you right now, we've been telling you the whole time. Next move, comment clear path. After that, get on the phone with us and we'll set you on the right path. So that's pretty much it.
Have a good one. Have a happy Thursday. 2019 is our year. Let's freaking get it.